Hey kids, welcome back. All right, well, I told you guys I'd be reading about Henry the Duck again. So here it is, Henry's Awful Mistake by Robert Quackenbush. All right, this one is about the ant. It's gonna come into Henry's life, and let's read what happens and see. So grab your blankets, grab your stuffed animals, get ready for story time. Henry's Awful Mistake. Oh, Lance. Henry. And it's for Pete and his grandma Q and Margie and Leslie. So it's dedicated. The day Henry the Duck asked his friend Clara over for supper, he found an ant in the kitchen. Henry was worried that Clara would see the ant. She might think his house was not clean. The ant had to go. There's the ant. Henry reached for a can of ant spray, but he didn't want to spray near the food he was cooking, so he chased the ant with the frying pan. Henry ran around the kitchen chasing after the ant, but the ant got away and hid behind the stove. Oh, there he is. Henry took the food he was cooking off the stove. Then he shut off the flame and pulled the stove away from the wall. He saw the ant. All right, he's gonna see the ant. It's a nice looking salad, huh? Salads are really, really good for you, especially the tomatoes. If you sprinkle some salt on there, my gosh, it's so delicious. The ant saw Henry and ran into a small crack in the wall. Henry went and got a hammer. Oh no. Kids, do not do this at home. Don't do it. Don't do it. At least don't get a hammer. Henry pounded a big hole in the wall where the crack was, but he couldn't find the ant, so he kept on pounding. Look, he's making a mess. Ooh, make a mess. The hole got bigger and bigger. At last, Henry saw the ant sitting on a pipe inside on the wall. See? I think he's either playing hide and go seek or catch me if you can. Oh, I think by now he's being mean to Henry. Henry aimed the hammer at the ant and missed. Ah! The blow of the hammer broke the pipe. Look at that. Water came shooting out of the pipe. Henry couldn't stop it. Look at that. He's getting wet and a mess. Goodness. And look, there's the ant probably laughing. What a mean ant, huh? Henry grabbed a towel. He tied it all around the pipe and the water stopped shooting out. It's a nice little bow tie. Isn't it pretty? That's pretty, huh? But Henry hadn't stopped the water soon enough. It had sprayed all over the kitchen. Everything was soaking wet except for Clara's supper. Thank goodness. Oh, nice salad. Looks like he's making some stew, it looks like. Looks delicious. Henry began mopping up the puddles of water. All at once, he slipped and banged against the kitchen table. Everything came crashing down. Henry was covered with pots and pans and food. Uh-oh. Ouch. I wonder if he bumped his head. That would hurt, huh? Poor guy. The supper was ruined. There was nothing Henry could do now but to call Clara and tell her not to come over. Poor thing. Did y'all see the ant anywhere? Oh, there he is. He's hiding. You would think the ant would be a little nicer now, right? While Henry was talking on the telephone, the towel came loose from the pipe. The water came shooting out and flooded the whole house. Henry was carried right out the door by the flood. Look, just by looking at him, he looks tired, and I gave up, doesn't he? Look, he's just like, whatever. Does life ever do that to you guys? Just gotta go with the flow sometimes. There was no going back. Poor Henry's house was washed away by the flood. He saved what he could and moved into a new house. Look who's following him. When Henry was settled in his new house, he again asked Clara over for supper. Just as he went to the door to let Clara in, he saw the ant. Look at that. He sees the ant. It's a pretty lamp, isn't it? It's nice. There's Miss Clara. All right, Miss Clara. Let's see if I can get this page opened. And he looked the other way. See? Sometimes that's a good thing to do. Just, you see a problem, you're dealing with a problem, it's best to just leave it alone. Or you can come back to it. Or in this case, just leave it alone. It'll drive you bonkers. Yeah. Here's more about the author. There's the ant. Again, Henry's awful mistake. Thank you so much, you guys. Y'all have a great day. Take your nap. It's a beautiful day. It's the weekend. All right. Sweet dreams. Bye.